I recently posted a review of my latest acquisition, this PRS SE DGT, and if you saw it you'll remember I gave it fulsome praise, but I was a little bit underwhelmed by the phases of the moon inlays on the fretboard compared to the birdies that you get if you have the sunburst version of this guitar. Also, when you saw the guitar from the playing angle, those moons, or the phases of those moons, kind of disappeared. So I thought, having seen a Darryl Braun video of him using these Fretlook fret markers, which are like transfers that go on your fretboard, made by a clever little German company, and I was quite impressed, because I've known about these sort of things for a long time, but I always thought they were a bit cheesy and they probably would come off easily and whatever. So I took the plunge, paid me £10 on Amazon, and got a packet. This, by the way, is the final result. So you're going to see in this video all the steps that I took to achieve this effect. Maybe it's probably like Marmite, you either hate it or you love it. I personally, now that I've got it completed, I love it because it kind of almost looks like these are gold, toning in with the gold top. Others might think, God, that's just too ostentatious. But there we are, you pays your money, you takes your choice. I think it's a great improvement. So without further more ado, on to the application of the Fretlook fretboard stickers. Oh, before, can I just ask that if you like what you see on my channel, please don't hold back. Give us a tick and subscribe. It'll help me a lot to keep going with the content and improve it as I go along. So, thanks. I would like some better fret markers, because these don't do the guitar justice, in my personal opinion. So I sent away for them. They're available on Amazon.uk. I can't speak for Amazon.com, or you can buy them direct from the German company's website. I think it cost me £10. And let's see what you get. You get inside these things, which are basically stickers with a backing on and a line down the middle to help you align where you're going to put the markers so you can get them in place. You also get what I thought was a free pick. Well, it is a free pick, but it's also a tool for rubbing this material here, sort of plastic gabardine material that holds the transfer, so you get good adhesion when you put these on. Fretlook have got two very, very helpful videos on their YouTube website which show you firstly how to go about cleaning the fretboard so that adhesion of the transfers is maximized, and also how you then, on the second video, how you actually go about applying them. So where do we start? Well, the first thing to do is to clean the fretboard. Even though this guitar is very new, there's certainly no sweat on it or other grime, but I'm going to follow the suggested routines of the two videos in order that I do the job as Fretlook recommend, because what I don't want to do is take any shortcuts and then find the stickers start dropping off or peeling off. You don't have to take the strings off. They show quite a natty method of just loosening them and putting them to one side. But when I start in a minute, we'll see how that goes. They recommend covering up your pickups because we're going to use a very fine grade steel wool, they recommend, to rub the frets down. Presumably, even though this fretboard surface seems extra smooth to me, presumably they want to make sure whatever fretboard you've got not one that's been varnished, I should say. It's only going to work on these sort of fretboards. There could be some debris from the steel wool that might get attracted to the pickups. So we need to cover those up. So we're almost ready to start. I've assembled my bits and pieces. We've got that will put aside for the time being. We've got some 000 steel wool, which is the recommended grade. So we'll get into that. And we need some scissors for a couple of jobs. Probably some tape. Some bits of paper, which I use to hold the strings back. A nice new, clean, lint-free, fibre-free cloth. And some lemon oil. Now I was a bit surprised in the video. I think somebody asked in the comments, well, surely if you're degreasing, which is what they are saying you should do, in terms of cleaning the fretboard, you wouldn't use ultimate lemon oil, which, or the word oil seems to imply that it is greasy. It's never occurred to me before. Maybe it's not. But anyway, they say, no, that's ideal, lifts out any muck, and then you thoroughly wipe it off. So, with that, we'll make a start. The instructions say use the steel wool laterally first, like this. And I'm also giving the frets a polish, I guess. I didn't need it, but I'm doing all the frets in case you're wondering, well, why doesn't he just do the one with the ones with the fret markers? Again, in the video they show the treatment all over, and you might as well, because if you're cleaning your fretboard, crikey, you might as well clean your fretboard. Okay, that's that way. Oh, look, you can actually see what they mean about the iron filings being attracted to the pickups. Right, then they say do it this way. I think as soon as I've finished, I mean luckily I'm by some large windows to the outside of the house, that I'm going to have to not only take the guitar out there and blow all the residue off, but I can see that a heck of a lot of residue is collected on this pink dust blanket as well. So I'll have to sort that out. Perhaps I should have put a mask on. If all that fluff's floating around, it will probably be floating into my sinuses and into my lungs. Health and safety alert, Aruga, Aruga. Health and safety alert, Aruga. Risk assessment needed. Fill in some forms. Right, I think that should do it. And put this wretched thing away in here. Lord knows what I'm going to use all these for in future. They'll go in the shed, won't they? In the garage, rather, with all the other tools and detritus we collect. Okay, we're back. I hadn't realised that that part of the process was going to be dusty. I don't know if I breathed anything of it in, probably my imagination. So let's see if we can get a bit closer. Okay, so we'll now do the usual thing. that we should do more regularly to our guitars, but we probably neglected. There's just have to wipe off any surplus lemon oil that hasn't been absorbed thoroughly into the wood whilst I've been having a cup of tea. So if nothing else, the guitar gets a good clean. Now the instructions, the manufacturer's instructions recommend that I now leave this for a day to make sure every bit of lemon oil has soaked into the wood and there isn't any sitting on the surface which would interfere with the adhesion of the fret markers. So I have to wait another day, whereas of course you just have to wait a matter of a few seconds. Okay, here we are a couple of days later. Fretboard's all dry. I must confess, it still kind of worried me that lemon oil is oil and maybe greasy, so I've wiped these marker frets off with a little bit of warm water and a cloth and a tiny bit of washing up liquid. Right, and then left it another day to dry. So, carrying on following the instructions, we cut these up, scissors are blunt. Right. This is a chance for fret 1, which I'm not going to bother with because there isn't a marker. Can you hear that fly buzzing around? It's a very hot day here in Cornwall in the UK. Must be nearly 30. So we'll start with 3 and 5. Oops, I just realised you can't see what I'm doing. Trying to get them in the middle as far as possible. That one doesn't quite cover the fret marker, but I think I'm doomed because I'm going to scrape that one off. Oh, it's quite fiddly. So this is a good test because you can see that it is indeed sticking down quite well. You see I've got the bring the guitar down a bit so still see the crescent of the moon, so that was a bit of a poor start, wasn't it? Wow, do these stick? So I've got this one from the first fret which I'm not going to use, so we can try that again. Wow, you have to learn as you go with this. Just take care, as much care as you can. 7. Very fiddly job. I guess for £10 a packet, if you make a mess, you can always buy another packet. Right, fret 7. Yeah, let's try and make sure we get this right. Actually, it's handy having something like a round crescent, a round inlay, because you can then better position that center line. I'm probably going to wind this bit of the video fast so you don't have to tediously watch me put all these in place. And anyway, it puts me off you looking over my shoulder all the time like that. On the other side of the camera. Now, 12 seems to have a bit more of a fancy decal. We'll just hold it in place and see what that looks like. I guess it's like that because it needs to cover the two moons. So I have to be very careful. We put this one down. I think that's probably it. 13, 14, 15. Whew. It's hot today. $17. I haven't got anything on 24, but we'll come back to that one. 17. Yeah, now talk amongst yourselves. Okay. Get rid of all this junk. And the next bit of the process, they say, is to use the supplied pick and smooth the transfers down hard. As we saw earlier with that first one, which was a bit of a sweaty moment, squeaky bum moment. And then they say to peel them off from top, or laterally, if that's what you want to call it. Right, make absolutely sure these are stuck down. Peel. I must say the process kind of works. They feel quite thick, you can feel them. But we'll see if you actually detect anything when you're playing a bit later on. Right, here we are at the last one. Hope you haven't all fallen asleep. You've probably skipped forward anyway. Which is a shame because quite a few frames back I actually told everybody what the meaning of life was. But there we are. It's a shame. That's the penalty for skipping past YouTube videos where you can't be bothered. I'm not going to tell you where the section is that I told everyone about the secret of life. But there we are. Tough. Okay, that's all done. So what I'm going to do now is put everything back together and yeah, put the strings back and give it a play. See you in a sec.